everybody, welcome back to Whistle Thicket. What is a teacher's two favorite words? Spring break. That's right, I'm on spring break, Roan's on spring break. I got a lot of projects to do. We're filming on the iPhone X right now, so I'm in 4K quality. So hopefully the quality is gonna be better. My first ever video on the iPhone X. So we got a lot of chores to do today. I'm getting bees in less than a week, like 5 days, as long as the weather doesn't get too cold. I'll be getting them on Saturday. I got a lot to do. I'm going to move my bee yard a few feet over, I think. I need to paint my hive body and my supers. I got some planting. I got a lot of stuff to do. That's the great thing about spring break. The great thing about being a teacher and a homesteader is I got a little bit of time to do stuff. So it looks like it's raining, but I'm gonna move into the man shed. I know I need a new door on that baby. I'll be doing that this summer, I hope. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint my beehive because that's important. If you don't paint it, then it's not gonna last long. It's gonna rot over a year or two, and then you're gonna spend a lot of money. So let's get down to business. We are going to paint my supers. These are medium supers. I'm painting them white. Some people say that for your hives, you need to paint light colors, that red and black make bees angry. But I've also heard other beekeepers say it doesn't matter, paint it whatever color you want. But I'm painting mine white because I got some leftover exterior white paint. So that's why I'm choosing white, because I already got that paint. So let's go ahead and paint these supers. And it's painted! If only real life was as quick and easy as YouTube sometimes seems, right? I did the first coat here. I'm going to let it dry. I got more boxes to paint. I'm going to come back in an hour and I'm going to coat this again. But I'm going to look at my bee yard and I might be moving it, and I'll tell you why. I found Rowan's sled in the yard. I'm going to put this up for the season. It's like April 2nd. I sure hope we don't have any more snow. But a lot of my family lives in St. Louis, and I guess they just had snow yesterday on April Fool's, so I hope we're done with the snow because I'm planting. We had Easter yesterday. Had a blast. Rowan did a Easter egg hunt on her pony. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, let's go check out the bee yard. This is my little bee bench I made. Nothing fancy, just a board and some bricks. But I was able to go see my friend's hives. He did a hive inspection. His bees are looking great. But I realized something when I was working with him. This is not a good place for a bee bench. The reason why is it's against the fence. I thought, hey, that's a great idea because it'll have a little more support with wind or anything. But what really is holding it back is I need to be able to access the hive from the back as well. I didn't realize that as much as I should have since I'm a beginning beekeeper. I think people call those beaks, maybe, B-E-E-K, a beginning beekeeper. So I'm just going to move this over to this area. I'm going to go ahead and lay some cloth down here, some landscaping cloth to keep the weeds down. I'm mulching my perennial garden here. Things are looking good. I'm going to move this over to where I'm at so I can access it from either side of the beehive. So right, with bees, as I'm learning, they make propolis that goes around the supers, and that's why you need a bee tool to pry open the supers, and that's going to make it a lot harder for me to do. But while we're in the garden, I want to show you something very exciting. The asparagus is rising. That's right. I planted asparagus in this bed in front of me last year. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 asparagus stalks. So go ahead and check them out with me. So that's a success. The asparagus is coming up. I definitely need to weed this bed. It's the only bed in this area I haven't weeded. I was just waiting for the asparagus to come up, I guess. But I think we'll have a small harvest of asparagus this year. Come next year, this whole bed hopefully is going to be exploding with asparagus. I really love it. It's so tasty. It's a great spring treat. I could eat asparagus tonight almost with that one stalk, but have one stalk of asparagus, maybe that doesn't make any sense, but it's so good. But I'm gonna move my bee bench real quick. So I moved the bee bench and I laid plastic down on most of my fruit bushes here. It's a little bit harder to lay plastic down for asparagus, so I'm not gonna do that. But this perennial garden is ready to be mulched. Check out my rhubarb. If you've been paying attention to the videos, the rhubarb is doing pretty awesome. So check it out real quick. So a few weeks ago, I had a few leaves poking out of the soil, and we did get some snow, a couple inches of snow actually. But the rhubarb's pretty hardy. I may get a rhubarb harvest this year. I don't know. I may just let her be. But we're going to go ahead and plant something still today. We're going to get our potatoes in the ground. So last year, this was my potato area. It still is. I'm going to improve it a little bit. It was hard to keep on stacking the soil up. So I'm going to use some wire cages to make it a little bit easier. And I am growing potatoes in old feed sacks. Real easy to do. I'm gonna grow probably 7 or 8 of these bags. I made a video about that, but let's go ahead and plant these taters. So let's plant some taters. Last year, I mainly planted some blue potatoes. I'm going to do that again. I like to grow crops and veggies that are hard to get at a grocery store, if not impossible. You can get potatoes really cheap at the grocery store, I know that. But I like growing them, and I like to grow something a little bit different. This year I have the blue potatoes, and then I have a mix of some other sprouts here that I'm going to be using, some seed potatoes. Another good example, corn. Corn is really cheap at the grocery store. If you're a small homesteader, you know, maybe you see less of a reason to plant corn, maybe. I don't know. At least I do. But this is a corn we plant. We plant popcorn, and then we pop our own popcorn all year long. And then you can save the seeds to plant next year's popcorn. So that's what we'll be doing, you know, in a month and a half or so. But let's go ahead and plant our seed potatoes. So last year I planted all of my potatoes in this potato bin. I got a decent harvest, but what was tough is that throughout the year, I had to add more and more soil, and there just wasn't any structure or supports in here to kind of keep that soil in place, so it was kind of a pain. So this year, I'm going to plant my potatoes, then I'm going to use some welded wire, and I'm going to kind of make a zigzag pattern, and that's going to keep the straw and all of the compost and mulch and leaves that I throw in here. It's going to give them more support. Then I'm going to block the front with either some of this netting or maybe a spare piece of fencing. And I don't need to check on the potatoes until the very end. So it's okay if I can't access the back, because I don't need to access the back until I harvest. Well, I didn't do exactly what I said I was gonna do with my potato bin. I didn't have enough scraps to do my little zigzag method, but what I did, I had 2 scrap rolls of fencing, or pieces of fencing. I made some loops out of those. Those are in the middle, and then I put this welded wire scrap on the front to give it more support this year. And this is at the edge of my garden, so it's easy to throw compost and old straw over into the potato bin. This is a great compost system too. I have awesome soil, and that's because of all of our animals, our composting. This potato bin will be filled up to the top here, 4 feet, with hay and straw, leaves by the end of the season, and that's going to keep composting and breaking down, and then it's just going to sit there. I may do another round of potatoes, we'll see, but come next year, this soil process is going to feed my garden. So I hope you enjoyed our hangout today. I still got a lot of potatoes left. I guess I bought more than I thought, but that's okay. I'm going to do the feed bag method, and I'm going to compare the two, see which one works best for me. So have a great day. Super excited about the iPhone X I'm filming on now. I think it's going to be quite a bit better quality than my old phone. I'm getting my bees in a few days. It's just been a great day on the homestead. So until next time, keep it real, keep on homesteading, and have a great day.